and this is going into.
There is no future for people who deny their past. My foreparents, my grandparents.
Welcome to the Final Boss Podcast, your ultimate destination for urban culture, community vibes, and live conversations with the movers and shakers of the streets. Join us as we explore the rhythm of the one beat at a time. Let's get the show started. Turn up the volume, sit back and relax, and welcome to the Final Boss Podcast, hosted by Turbotheceo, and follow us on all social media platforms.
You're listening to the TheFinalBoss podcast.
Welcome to everyone around the world to the Final Boss Podcast Tuesday night edition. Tech Tuesday. Tonight is a very special night. This is episode number 99. And man, we're going out with a bang for episode number 99. Everyone, before we get it started, let's welcome our Tuesday night correspondent, the Sensei, Big Mike. Yes, sir. So tonight we're going out with a bang. It's episode number 99. One episode left before we close out for season 2. But before we get into it, everybody around the world, the greeting of the day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And we welcome each and every last one of you to our show as we get ready to deliver to you knowledge and information. Now, this is Tech Tuesday. If you don't know, if you've been following us for some time, our Tuesday night show is dedicated to technology in all aspects of technology, good and bad. Now, mind you, this is for entertainment purposes only. And tonight is that night that it is really for entertainment purposes only. Okay? We're going to be stressing that fact in different verbiage, but it will be throughout the night. So let's get into the brass tacks that's going to shape the evening. Here's the brass tacks. No author. Technology shapes the world we live in, but it's the people behind the code, the circuits, and the strategy who truly drive the progress. Truly drive the progress. That, my friends, to the final bosses, to the smarts, and now our motivators. That is the brass tacks for tonight. And man, this is a milestone evening, right? It's a milestone evening. Double nine, 99, episode number 99. One episode shy of the big 100. 100. This Thursday, our centennial episode will be this Thursday, And our guest host is none other than Hector Williams, who is going to help us celebrate our 100th episode and wrap up season 2 proper. But tonight, the Sensei and I are chasing something that might explain why hitting 100 feels both inevitable and listen, I don't know, somehow predetermined. Somehow predetermined, man. We get ready to go into some deep. We're going to do a deep dive tonight because it's Tech Tuesday, right? A little bit of framework about tonight because I want you guys to get exactly where we're coming from, and I want you to be crystal clear about what we're doing here. We don't do tinfoil hats. We think like engineers about systems. Grasp that concept. Basically, when you have a bunch of different people or players, I should say, who want similar things, they end up creating algorithms, right? That look similar but different, but also sometimes it's coordinated, even when nobody's actually calling the shot. Man, the Sensei, who is the SME behind most of our tech convo, computer science, active computing, discussing AI and learning machines, teaching machines. He's the SME. But tonight, it's going to get a little bit wild. When you grasp understanding of how platforms can not only track what you click, but also how you feel, and essentially build a psychological profile about you, that's what we're going to go into. And that's what we're going to be getting into. And yeah, it's going to get deep. It's going to get very, very deep. But I want you guys to be engaged, to my smarts, to my final bosses, to my motivators. I need you guys to just hang in there and take notes. Take some really, really good notes because that party is about to leave the station and I need you all on board. So let's get into it. Sensei, you ever feel like I do, because I mention to you all the time, how social feed may handle you a warm blanket the moment the world catches fire? Hey man, that's the best way I can say it. That's the best way I can say it. Man, you have to ask yourself, are we living in the Truman Show? Is the Matrix really the curtain that is behind the curtain that we don't see? Yeah, let's talk about it.
That's why it's so cozy.
Oh man. Oh man. I mean, I can remember exactly when I noticed the change. And I think it has a lot to do with I think it started out with certain protests, right? And you notice that those protests had identifiers or hashtag identifiers. Those exploded. Then after that, there was little nuggets that would lead you down to different parallels of different movements. And I believe that's when this social monitoring was elevated to what we have right now. What's your thought on that?
Well, if you pay attention, and this is the key, if you pay attention to what's going on, and we have all kinds of social media feeds. So you've got all your Instagrams, your TikToks, your Facebooks, all your various feeds that you have. And so you're engaged in your feeds and you get information that comes to you. And you're very correct. Or in these most recent protests, this is a very good example that you heard a lot about it. There were certain things on the news. There were a lot of people out there, but the social media didn't really blow up. It was pretty calm.
Right.
So there wasn't a lot of online massive reaction. In the past, when we had big protests, you'd get a lot of online reaction to them. And this time it was just kind of went away. It was like it became a big nothing. So what that means is that what happened in the real world, the protests themselves, really didn't have a lot going on.
Okay.
So, another example is the current protests that have been going on about the raids, the ice raids all over the country. But social media is not really blowing up, is it?
No,
it's kind of
not at all.
Kind of quiet. Things are just kind of like normal.
Right.
So things are just normal. So what happens is when the big hashtags start to hit, boom, 20 minutes of just calm, cool, and collected. So it feels like the Truman Show when the studio lights drop. The first hint that the scenery's staged, right?
Right.
So what this actually breaks down to, in technical terms, there's a 4-layer algorithmic thermostat. It's just a thermostat that keeps society just calm enough to protect the ad money. Because remember when we talked about back in the day, we talked about the movie The Social Dilemma. And it's all about social media being monetized. So if I'm so upset, I'm not of a value. I'm not, my clicking is not going to be there. I'm going to get so angry that I'm going to just walk away from it. So I'm not engaged anymore. So you got to be calm enough to protect the ad money and also political continuity. So basically, it's a blue pill microdose dissolved in cute cat videos. And not just cat videos. What's the newest craze? The newest craze. The Yeti vlogs.
Yetis. And the Star Wars.
And the Star Wars. And
those vlogs, man.
Have you seen the grandmas yet? Have you seen the grandmas yet?
No, man,
you got to watch the grandmas. They are just
no.
next level funny. Well,
I refuse, man.
It's gonna the fact that we're talking about it now, it's gonna come up on your feed, and you're gonna have to watch them. So they're funny.
Exactly.
So, what happens is that what this means in 2025 feeds, it's a compliance hook, right? Accept the curated calm, scroll on, stay monetizable. Don't get too upset. You're too upset. Right. You're no longer engaged. You're no longer sitting on your couch just scrolling through things, enjoying the ads that come your way. You're not there.
Right.
Stay monetizable. It comes down to the money. If you ever want to know what's really going on in the world, it's simple. Follow the money. You always know what's happening.
Follow the money. Every single time.
So we call it comfort at the cost of agency.
Okay.
Truman enjoying Sea Haven. When Truman was enjoying Sea Haven, it was great.
Right.
But what happens is the other side of that is called a red flip
Mm-hmm.
to your chronological feeds, your randomizers, your messy information. Freedom plus friction. Okay? So if you have freedom, you also can create friction. And that's Neo stepping out of the pod, right? That was a very much of a very challenging event that occurred where he went from this wonderful life that he was in out into the harshness of the real world.
Resistance.
The
system
it's
applying
like,
resistance.
It's like radar.
Yeah. Now, speaking of which, because you actually brought up a few good points in that statement that you just made. One, if I recall, hold on, give me a second. You had mentioned microdoses. How granular is this weather radar? And do you perceive that for the future, those elements that may that cause arousal through either riots or something major going on a global stance, they would deliver it to us in microdoses just as a testing model? Because this is all data, it's all metrics. That's all it is. Yeah.
So what happens? The tracking is going on right now because you have to remember computers are very fast and they track everything. Half-second pauses, swipe back. So if you swipe through and then you go back to look at something again, it's a swipe back. Every emoji, the cloud dashboards write up like heat maps, like the director's booth in the Truman Show. An example of that is in 2023, there's a bank run search spike. People were searching for bank run, meaning there was a problem with the bank and people were trying to find out what's happening with the banks. So there's a spike. But right away, dashboards flash red because it's like red, yellow, and green. The NCAA clips rose 18% on trending. So something that distracts you from what you were really looking for starts to fill your feed. That's a blue pill sprinkle. Let's just keep you. Let's get you back away from getting upset and let's calm you down.
Okay.
And it's not done all at once. Because if you do it all at once, it's a problem.
These micro doses, these micro nudges. It's as if we're recognizing, I'm quite sure there are plenty others who are, but then there's those who aren't recognizing what's going on. And they see the title of a news flash. They see the title of a social media posting. News break. Government in crisis. Reaction. Emotion. Go to the streets. It's all, in my opinion, data collection and governance in ways that they're collecting metrics and information.
And it's so subtle.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's subtle. This is nothing that's going to be all at once. It's very, very, very subtle, very itty bitty. You won't even notice it unless you're really paying attention.
Really into.
You gotta it's comfort carbs, right? The new term for these Yeti vlogs is all that is called AI slop. It's like eating cotton candy. Okay, there's nothing there for you.
Or mac and cheese.
So in the Paris 2024 riots, the protest creeps, they plateaued, right? But what happened? 22% change in the algorithm, a 0.8% weighting of the tweak. It feels tiny, but across billions of impressions, it bends the curve. Because remember, in a micro nudge, it's small. And if you multiply the small over billions of interactions, it's enough.
Right.
It's enough.
Mm. Man, that's less than 1%.
Mm-hmm.
How does, well, I kind of like have an idea, but I want to ask anyway. How does such a hairline dial move the national mood?
Well, every post carries relevance, a score.
Mm-hmm.
The engineers add a sentiment penalty term, say 0.008 for inflaming posts and a plus 0.008 for calming ones. That nudges thousands of posts 1 or 2 slots. All it takes is moving something to the 5th place or the 6th place. 1 or 2 slots, and you don't even see it on your feed. It just drops it. And what are you paying attention to? What's on your feed?
It's
small.
That's mind blowing. Yeah, but it's small now. But let's say we're behind the curtain. We're going to dial it up. Who's to say that they won't crank it up 20%?
Well, you got plausible deniability, camouflage. A giant shove looks like censorship. If you move something too much, it's like, wait, what was that? And everybody starts to look at the censorship portion and go, wait a minute, I just got censored. They got censored, or they got shut down. And red flags start to fly everywhere. Now, instead of calm, you just created a riot.
Right.
So a hairline nudge hides the normal churn. Top 5 posts grab 60% of clicks. Hear me now. The top 5 posts grab 60% of the clicks. Drop number 4 to number 5, and you can reach the fall in double digits. No sledgehammers needed. It's so subtle. It's just the algorithm. And it only takes a tiniest little bit to take your posts from all the way up in the top where it's catching everyone's attention to nothing.
Nothing. Yes. I've seen that drop on many occasions. Yeah. So if a platform serves, let's say, a randomized number, let's say 10 billion impressions an hour, right? And 15% of those impressions are mood rated. We're talking about a 0.008% that deflects 120 million angry impressions an hour. Is that what you're telling me?
Per hour. So over
per
48
hour.
hours, over a 48-hour news cycle, which is a long news cycle. That's a long news cycle.
Yeah.
That quietly buries nearly 3 billion sparks of outrage. 3 billion sparks that just never show up. So 3 billion times people are upset. Those just get buried, and it's so subtle, you never see it happening. And I got to ask yourself, why? If you got groups A and B, group A gets the tweak, group B doesn't. If A buys more stuff and reports a better mood, the tweak goes global by dawn. See? Because the system's smart. These algorithms are intelligent. They go, hey, it's just a dashboard. Where am I at? Am I green, yellow, or red? Oh, it's red. Let's get it over to yellow so we can calm things down. And I really want everything to be in green.
Right.
And if you take A and B group and you go both directions with it, and A group ends up having a positive response to what you're doing, you just push it everywhere.
Wow.
And suddenly you have inertia. Users don't even notice.
So they don't. So basically, man, that's incredible. So basically, I'm gonna use the reference. I'm gonna use the matrix as a reference. For group A and group B, you take red dresses, a whole bunch of red dresses, and you push them out. And because of what's happening in real time, you don't notice what's really happening. You just notice all the red dresses. And the users, we just never notice. That inertia that you were just speaking of, man, you're right. It's definitely blue pill. Oh man.
Calm you down. Feed
Wow.
you some cotton candy and popcorn.
And red dresses.
And red dresses.
Who can say no to a red dress?
Well,
I'm gonna throw a flag on the plate to myself on that one.
Yep.
Flag time to myself.
Red flag for that.
Flag on the plate. Red flag. Oh man. Wow. So these what we've been calling it, government traffic light dashboards.
Yeah, it's just a dashboard.
Yeah. People yell censorship, but why do you call it softer? What you mentioned that? What,
because it's about reach. It's not content that gets dialed. Red means cool it. Yellow, let it simmer. Green, boost it. So this is not something that's hidden. It's not even hidden. In the EU, they have a thing called a DSA portal. It lists the risk score categories. It lays it out crystal clear in Europe. They have a dashboard that monitors, and they can know everything that's going on. In the U.S., the agencies they use informal dashboards. I'll give you an example. In Truman Show, Christoph was pumping fog into Truman's harbor to keep him in town because it was dangerous for him to go out into the water when there was too much fog, you see?
Right.
So he kept him in town by pumping fog in. So what happens is subtle, very subtle. You don't even notice, well, I'm just not going to go out because it's too risky. You see what happens? It's a very gentle nudge. Very gentle nudge. Nothing's going to be too aggressive. Because then in the moment it's aggressive, you yell censorship.
Right.
And everybody else censorship.
Your screen is glitching. Did you see that?
Oh, I lost you noise-wise. Can you hear me?
I can still hear you.
If you can hear me, vertical. You can hear me. Up and down, up and down. You can hear me.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
I'm going to mute and unmute. Are we back?
I hope so.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh boy.
I think that we may have done what? Did we go somewhere?
Swear.
Did we tell the truth?
Listen, I swear.
You remember we talked about subtle changes? Yeah, I can't hear you, but I'm trying to read your lips. You hear about subtle things? Man. See, subtly. So I can't hear you. We're talking about something very real, very important. It talks about what's happening.
And you missed the visual. Your screen was glitching.
Let me look at settings here. Here, unmute from here. I stop from here. I do from there. This is crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Oh boy.
Default. I'm gonna try something.
Okay.
I'm gonna try something.
I think you're good now, but it was glitching. That's static.
I'm gonna try something.
Uh-oh. Echo.
Can you hear me? Oh, my microphone's working. I can't hear anything though. 1, 2, 3. Nope.
Test. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. All right.
Crazy.
Man.
See, we're talking about. See, in the EU they do this stuff. Here it's a little more subtle. So careful what you're talking about because it's a very subtle thing.
You sound like an echo, like you're in a chamber.
Sorry, let me try something else.
Yeah. You got a denoise on your
I just killed that. How's that?
Okay. Now it's kind of staticky. Now a little bit static.
Let me try this again. I'm adjusting. Better?
It's getting there. But we can.
How
Okay,
about that?
I think you're good. That's perfect. Perfect.
So let's talk about the algorithms A and B. Millions of micro edits, thumbnail colors, push timing. After a celebrity meltdown, the pastel thumbnails cut angry comments 12%. The platform auto lock pastel for 48 hours. So even just the color of things changes the mood. So once the mood changes, the system's going to be smart enough to go, oh, let's do this. Let's try this for a little while. Because what do we want? We want green. The system itself says we want green. We do whatever it takes to get green. That's all it takes. Self-optimizing code, rewriting the town square while we sleep. That's what happens.
Right. And I'm imagining that every iteration, it gets better.
Oh, yeah.
They get better with the calming formula. They get better with the micro nudges, the micro doses, and less somebody's handing out red pills.
Well, because we're predictable, you see?
Yeah.
We just look at I'll give you an example. The climate march. Big climate march happened in January 2025.
Right. Okay.
This is public, wasn't it?
Yeah, that one hits close.
January 2020, January 22, 2025. Global climate strikes happened in 32 countries. Big turnout, lots of people. Video footage went viral locally, but locally, key thing. Look on TikTok or Instagram. Clips are trickling, not even trending. Wasn't even like it happened.
Right.
Independent analysts found something was off. The hashtags like hashtag climate strike 2025, hashtag youth for Earth.
You didn't see any of it.
You didn't see it.
Yeah.
Didn't see
You didn't see it. Yeah.
The reach dropped by 70% compared to previous protests from 2022.
Man, they're managing our attention span. That's incredible.
Well, if social media doesn't show it, it didn't happen, right?
Right.
And if it didn't happen, you're happily sitting on your couch, eating Cheetos.
So basically, the tech has the capabilities of shadow banding whole events as if it didn't happen.
Not
directly. Okay.
Not directly. The content wasn't removed.
Okay.
But the platforms clearly showed velocity, likely triggered by red, yellow, green, a surge in the volatility risk, or the keyword saturation. In other words, the streets are loud, but was your phone, was your feed, those are calm as a lake.
Right.
So what does that mean? We used to think that if we take to the streets, we're gonna make a difference, right? But that doesn't happen anymore. You can take the streets all you want. And because the feeds don't show it, it didn't happen. It's like it didn't even happen. And then there's no whisper about it since then. Nothing.
Right.
Like it's an eerie silence. It's like quiet. Like unnaturally quiet.
Yeah.
And it's like when Truman was looking and he had this like epiphany of, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Right. And that fits that theory. The algorithm sensed the fire and quietly turned the volume knob all the way down.
But not all at once.
All the way.
It does it so gradually you don't even notice. It's like, la.
Nothing.
It's not loud quiet. It's just gradual. You don't notice it.
Yeah.
because then you can't scream censorship. It just goes away because we have short attention spans, don't we?
We did.
So we already have built-in short attention spans.
Mm-hmm.
So why do people prefer the blue pill?
People enjoy their comfort. They enjoy the creature features, the steaks, the wines, the music.
Yes. I know it's not real, but it doesn't matter. You know, that was very blatantly obvious.
Absolutely. That was
Your mind knows it's not real, but you don't care.
You don't care. As long as you are getting what you want on a personal level. I mean, that's actually, you know, that's very selfish. But I understand it. I do get it. Man.
So let me talk about some actual experiments that actually happened. This isn't, I'm not making things up. No conspiracy here. I'm just talking about a documented event published in legitimate academic journals. In 2014, Facebook ran a week-long experiment on nearly 700,000 users without telling them. Because remember, if you're on Facebook and you don't pay, you are the product.
Yes.
Okay. So they didn't have to tell them, did they? No. You agree to let them do whatever they want to you. So they manipulated the emotional tone of people's news feeds, showing one group more negative posts, another positive. The result? The people who saw more negative posts were more likely to post negatively themselves. In other words, if I see negative, I'm going to post negative. And vice versa. If I see positive, I'll post positive.
Okay.
So what that does, it proves that mood spreads like a virus online. It's the mood. And Facebook had the control panel. And they quantified it. This was peer-reviewed in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. It's a proof of concepts. It says platforms can steer group emotion through feed curation. 10 years ago, they did this. Actually, 11 years ago now. Think about how better the tools are now than they were then.
Yeah, that's pretty outrageous.
It's absolutely crazy. There was another one in 2022 called the Sentiment Dashboard Leaks. Now, this was confirmed or back channel, but in mid-2022, the Intercept and Financial Times got a hold of leaked documents from a couple of trust and safety contractors. They showed the screenshots of internal dashboards used by the platforms. Screenshots of the dashboards where they're watching the feeds live and just watching the needles, right? With real-time sentiment graphs across regions, topics, demographics, the U.S. political anger on a 24-hour trend.
Man.
Youth climate fear sentiment, trust in election, red state counties. They weren't just tracking the viral, they're tracking emotion. And it wasn't tied directly into content review teams. We don't just trust, the whistleblower said they don't just trust flag threats. We monitor emotional volatility before something trends. Before it even trends, is it a possibility that it's going to start a fire? If so, tamp it down before it gets out of control. It doesn't show what's rising. It shows how people felt about it.
And you know what I noticed? I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is a segue to something that I wanted to mention after I'm sitting here processing all of this. And everything. Okay, so you see things on the surface, but there's always things happening in the background. So we have a major event, we have a crisis, right? That, based off of your theory and the gems that you just dropped, there's a high possibility, very high, that they recognize that statistical patterns and various trending topics and timing correlations can control the sentiment spikes.
Well, they're not running a platform. They're not running a platform. They're running an emotional climate control. Don't let it get too hot. Control it. Don't let it get too cold. Keep it right in the middle.
Measurable mood stabilization.
Absolutely. And the thing that's so freaky about it is that things that would normally trend and get traction and really catch fire doesn't happen anymore. It's like everything is now on a level playing field. You get tiny little blips, but you don't get any spikes. You just don't get spikes anymore.
I'm telling you, Sensei. Look, shout out to Sensei for that information. But what I'm telling you, we are going to be on the verge of witnessing shock TV, horrendous acts, and things that give us high spikes, control the norm, business as usual. That's going to be the flow.
Yeah, well, look at back in the Roman times. What did they have? They had the gladiators, and they wanted to have the lions and tigers kill some of the gladiators because that would shock value.
Right.
What do we like to see in our sports nowadays? And it gets a lot of traction. Sports players in professional sports getting involved in fisticuffs with each other?
Yeah, drama, basically.
Drama. Okay.
Yeah.
So drama sells, right? But yet
drama sells.
Does that drama have any meaning behind it, or is it just drama for drama?
Oh, absolutely.
Does it solve anything? Well, it's orchestrated because what it does is it prevents you. Remember we talked about the 1,000,000 to 1. All I have to do is distract you and you'll never be effective.
You're glitching again.
Of course I'm glitching again because we're talking about things we ain't supposed to be talking about.
We're the Icarus twins right now.
we know that when we fly a little too close to the clouds and to the sun, we're going to get burnt. Come on.
Oh, boy.
All right, let's ask this question. Ask this question, Smarts. Tell me this. What other podcasts out there, and go search as much as you want, as high and low as you want, talk about the things that we talked about. And I'm talking about in ways that it's intelligent. It breaks it down. We give examples. We give facts and figures. And we talk about the reality of what's happening to us and around us. And do you ever hear anyone else talking about what we talk about? And I'm not just saying that just for us to, toot our own horns, but we pride ourselves in talking about things that are difficult subjects that no one else is thinking about. When was the last time or the first time, or if ever, you had ever heard about the QDAR?
Yeah.
The combination of AI, quantum, and radar.
And radar.
And if you think that that's freaky, Xfinity just rolled out. Listen to me now. Xfinity just rolled out a new plan that it's viable live. You just turn it on, and it can now track you inside of your house without cameras. It just uses your Wi-Fi.
Wow.
And I'm not talking about anything that's no conspiracy here. This is
no conspiracy.
Stuff.
These things exist. Exactly.
This is absolutely is in your face. This is real stuff.
In
real
your face.
Stuff.
It's happening right now. And since you mentioned QDAR, and by the way, Smarts, Final Bosses, Motivators, listen, go watch last week's Tech Tuesday. We discussed QDAR technologies, but not only about that. Here's an aspect. Here's a question. This is something I've noticed. Have you guys noticed, Smarts, Final Bosses, Motivators, have you noticed that when you use your phone, or you go for a period of time not using your phone, but then you use it again, immediately afterwards, you start getting spam calls. I'm just saying, I want to make sure it's not just me. Tomorrow, here's an experiment.
Calls? Oh my
spam calls.
Step away from it. Step away from it. You are going to get hit.
Yes.
Don't touch it for a couple of hours and see what happens.
Right.
And this is crazy stuff too.
It's
you ever
crazy
get those
stuff.
spam
That's
text
crazy.
messages that come in the same platform, the same style? Hey, I found you in my contacts. My name is blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? I send them a flaming emoji. I send them a flaming bird. But this thing I was telling you about, Xfinity, it's literally legit, real stuff. Like, as it's called Xfinity's Wi-Fi motion detection. The Wi-Fi signals as motion sensors inside your home. It's based on technology called Wi-Fi sensing. That's what it's called. It can detect movement in a space by analyzing how Wi-Fi signals are disrupted by motion. So the Wi-Fi signals travel through the air and bounce off objects. When someone moves within a signal range, like walking down a hallway, it causes subtle shifts in the signal. It's called channel state information, or CSI. Okay. So Xfinity compatible routers and X5 pods, they can interpret these shifts to detect motion without needing cameras. And these aren't the only ones doing it.
Yeah.
This is just the one they talk about.
Right. Exactly.
So all that we have told you in the past that not all technology is your friend.
You know, here's a question. Because we always talk about ethics, right? So here's a question for our democracy as it is right now. We know that these systems exist. We aren't telling fairy tales. We're using movie references so you can hold us accountable and that you can see visually where we're coming from, the similarities, right? These systems most definitely exist. It's whether we can figure out how to govern them. We need technology ethnicists who can call out for algorithmic accountability.
Ooh.
Basically, do systems auditing. Systems auditing. I know. But that's my point.
You do that mess, you're gonna be Jeffrey Epstein, is what's gonna happen to you.
Right. That's my point.
Because the system wants what it wants. And when I say the system, again, I don't mean anything that you would consider nefarious. I mean, it's just money, revenue driven. The algorithms are created. It's the system. It doesn't like disruptions. It doesn't like problems. It doesn't like things that raise red flags. It doesn't like that because that disrupts the people buying cat food and buying Ozempic because they see the Ozempic commercials. So you don't want to upset the flow. And the problem is that when you start talking about ethics and auditing and things of that nature, you're talking about yanking the curtain back. Now, don't get me wrong, in the EU, where privacy is more of a concern than in the United States, they have done some of that to make it a little more transparent. Not fully, but enough that you can actually look at some of the mechanics behind the scenes. You can actually see a little bit of the workings of the machine. Here, no. We're going to be paying attention to the NCAA.
That's a hard no.
Hard no. We're going to pay attention to the dumbest things.
Yeah.
But the hardest part for me is that I look for those splashes. I look for those things which make a difference. And the tone has gotten so unnaturally. It's like when there's an earthquake about to occur and the birds all go away and it's deathly silent.
Right.
And it's super quiet. That's what it feels like right now. It feels like there's an unnatural silence. And so the problem with an unnatural silence is now I'm on heightened alert because this is some weird stuff going on. And it doesn't feel right. And they say that there's a disturbance in the force. No, there's no disturbance in the force. And you're looking for little disturbances, and there are none. They're going away. No. It's like it's being whitewashed to the point where we can't even see what's in front of us because our sources of information are subtly guiding us away. Like, look, when Truman was moving towards and went out on the boat and he was going to go out across the water, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
The big storm occurred. Once to put the fog in there, get him in there. So he's afraid to go. Doesn't want to go. If he's going to go, make it really, really uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
And what did he end up finding at the end?
The door.
He found the door.
Wait a minute. Why did my audio change?
Nope. Your audio is good. You're not the one talking bad things. You're not the one talking bad things. I'm the one over here talking about the bad stuff. I'm the one talking about the machine. I'm the one talking about the algorithm.
But I'm associated with you.
Yeah, well, I'm the one who got cut off. Right?
Right.
Cut me off and says, yo, you stop talking about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Change the subject.
We know you're only on for an hour. We're going to take 10 minutes out of your time, so you can't talk about what we do.
Right. We're going to glitch you out, too.
It's not like, here's the thing. It's not like these organizations go and have backroom meetings. They just have the same wants. They want to monetize what's going on. So they all have the same goal. They don't talk about it amongst themselves. They just all do the same thing because the same thing does what? Gets the same result. They're all about the result. The result is what they want. They don't care about how they get the result. They're just going to get the result. And it doesn't matter if you're on Facebook, Instagram, X. It doesn't matter what platform you're on. They don't care. They're all the same. TikTok. It doesn't matter. All the platforms are the same. There are no difference in the platforms because they all have the same goal. Monetize.
Monetize your attention.
You watch the Netflix, watch it again, The Social Dilemma. I'm telling you that tells you what they're doing and why, and breaks it down to ways you can absolutely understand, because the social dilemma is real and it's not a joke. And watch that movie again, and when you do, look at it with today's eyes and perspective of what we're seeing happening in our world today, and take that template and overlay what they said is going to happen.
True.
And we're not conspiracy theorists here. We're talking about what's documented out there in the world. This is already out. Just nobody talks about it because what happens?
It's already out.
You can't talk about it because you're going to be a yellow light or a red light, and it's going to your feed is going to go away. No one's going to see you. No one's going to hear you.
I've noticed some of our topics. I noticed 1 minute we have almost 1 million views. The next maybe 20,000. I'm saying, okay, this is just.
They don't ban you. They don't ban you. They just
no, they don't ban you.
Yep. Draw the attention somewhere else. It's the same effect, but yet it's more subtle and you can't see it, so therefore you can't call it out. And look, we're not rebellious here. We're just observing what's going on. This is just watching the trends and going, hey, what's happening? Yeah. What's happening?
And we're just bringing it to your attention.
If we expect to have a hope in this world to have some kind of awareness and not be a total sheeple, then we need to really just watch for these things, these subtleties. When you see something happening, open your eyes a little wider. When you see a story that's really, really big over here and a tiny story over here, I'm telling you, if categorically you always disbelieve the big story, you'll find yourself more accurate and correct than if you just pay attention to everybody that's following the big story. So if there's a big story and a little story, and you say, I don't believe anything that the big story is, 100%, I just don't believe any of it, you're going to be more correct and accurate than if you believe something.
And that's playing out right now. What's the biggest story right now? What's the biggest story right now?
Oh, well, they're trying to push the bill through the Senate, and that's kind of the big moment. The ICE thing was a big moment. Did you hear what happened in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho?
Yeah, I heard about that.
That was a blip, and it's going to be a blip. You'll never hear another word about it. It's going to be bloop, bloop, and gone.
That was intentional. That was definitely intentional.
Oh, yeah. But what I'm getting at is that should spark national outrage. That should spark, oh, my God, protect our firefighters no matter what. We need to do something about this. This can never happen again. Nothing. Yeah. Crickets. Absolute
and you know
crickets.
What? To add to that, the trial with the music mogul, they were trying to push that to the point of social media Mount Olympus, like the football player trial from back in the day.
Right.
It didn't happen. It didn't reach Mount Olympus. So, yeah, it's a lot of controls mechanisms that are in place. But man,
because you got to remember, AI makes it more efficient. The algorithms become so good. So good.
True.
We don't have a chance against the algorithms. And I'm not talking about anything nefarious. I'm talking about you just shut up, sit on your couch, and doom scroll. That's what your job is. If you do that, you'll be fine. Everything's okay. You just shut up and take your blue sprinkles.
Not only for the disclaimer of entertainment purposes only. Listen, AI, we're your friend. We're pro AI. We are pro AI. We like you.
Yes, because I want to be symbiotic with it. Oh, and my screen just glitched. My screen just glitched, and it's glitching.
You get all the flags for that one, Mike.
My screen is glitching, right? But the moment I talk about that I want to be symbiotic with AI, it started glitching.
You said too much, man. Oh man!
I will tell you though, I use various models, and I'm trying to use the Deep Think model, the newest one, and it's
the big no model.
Well, it's results. I don't like its results, man. It's just like, what are you doing, man? I don't like you. I even told it, I don't like what you're doing. I told us, I don't like what you're doing. Your results are not good. I'm going back to the other model because you are not fulfilling my needs. I told it that. And remember,
you're a wild man.
And it did exactly what I wanted. I'm telling you, you're messing up. You messing up.
You're out of control.
Well,
ladies and gentlemen, the Sensei, Big Mike. Let's give him a hand. Oh boy. Listen, before we close out, oh man, it's always a fun. I love Tech Tuesdays, man. We always have a ball on Tech Tuesday. It's twofold. We delivering and we hit the information really hard, even though some of it is surface, but we try to get it past you guys as efficiently as possible. But then we have our moments of fun, and this is how we are. So I'm glad I hope you guys were able to get some laughs in, as we talk about the most difficult of conversations. Now, Sensei, before we close out, you have any closing statements that you would like to make? Because this is episode number 99. And then we're going to go on break. We're going to be on hiatus for a couple of weeks. And then we'll be back with season 3. Season 3.
Try to change your feeds once in a while. Change the algorithm. Change something to disrupt the loop. Cross-post a meme on 3 different platforms to see what happens.
Oh. Yeah.
There's a lot you can do.
Because I believe that I am completely shadow banned on Facebook, period. But when I post the same thing on Instagram, I'm telling on myself, we're doing numbers. Facebook, not so much. But hey, it is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, well, you know what? Before I close out, here's a call to action and some admin notes to close out for episode number 99. This Thursday, episode 100, Hector Williams will be joining us. And I'm not going to talk about that conversation in that episode, but we talk about a lot of stuff and dealing with business, entrepreneurship, Hollywood, you name it. We talked about it, or we will be talking about it, rather. I'm sorry. Here's a call to action to you, to my smarts, to my motivators, to my final bosses. Here's some homework for you. Start paying attention to your own cognitive environment. The first step towards algorithmic literacy is recognizing when, now here's a quote. Here's something I want you guys to pay attention to. Recognize when you're swimming in the algorithm versus when you're just using it. That's your homework. That's your homework. Please continue to support us. DM us, shoot us emails at info@TheFinalBossPodcast.com. Go grab some merch. I think the merch site is still up. Go grab some merch at TheFinalBossPodcast.com. One word. And by the way, season 3 is going to be crazy. Tech Tuesdays, man. We got a lot of stuff coming. So from my heart, the Sensei's heart, to you guys, we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for your continued support. As always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to all you guys around the world. And listen, look for the door. Look for the door. Take that red pill. Be balanced, be equal, and be smart. That's our show for tonight. Episode number 99, and its conclusion is now. We will see you guys again in a few weeks. Make sure you see our 100th episode this Thursday. And by the way, I have to give you this. We have 4 shows weekly. 3 of the shows are ending until we go on for hiatus into season 3. But Motivation Mondays, because it's a brand new show, Motivation Mondays will continue each and every Monday for the next couple of weeks solely by itself. And then the return of the other 3 shows, Tech Tuesday, special guests Thursdays, and Sitting Down with the Final Boss on Sunday. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. So it's been fun. Thank you so much for your continued support. See you guys on season 3. Sensei, anything?
Have a wonderful day.
A wonderful day. A wonderful day indeed.
Enjoy your